Part 1. Welcome, language learners. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the number of words you need to learn in English? You've probably faced this challenge, being bombarded with lists of unrelated vocabulary and feeling unsure of how to effectively retain them. The issue is clear. Traditional vocabulary learning methods can feel disconnected, tedious, and ultimately ineffective. But what if I told you there's a way to make this process more engaging and more effective? Today, we'll dive into an approach that can radically improve your vocabulary retention and expansion. Thematic learning and word clusters. This method involves learning words by grouping them around central themes, making the process more memorable, engaging, and deeply connected to real-world usage. In the next few minutes, I'll guide you through how thematic learning and word clustering can help you enhance your vocabulary in ways that go beyond memorization. Instead of just learning isolated words, you'll learn to think about language in a more holistic, interconnected way. Stay with me as we explore how this powerful strategy will help you take your vocabulary to the next level. Part 2. To understand the power of thematic learning, let's break it down. Imagine you're trying to learn vocabulary related to food. Instead of memorizing random words like apple, bread, or salad, you could cluster these words into meaningful groups: fruits, vegetables, grains, cooking methods, and utensils. These clusters make the vocabulary more meaningful, relevant, and easier to remember. The beauty of word clusters lies in their ability to connect words to a bigger context. When you learn vocabulary thematically, you don't just memorize words in isolation, you learn the relationships between words. For instance, once you've learned food-related vocabulary, you'll start to notice how those words interact in sentences, how they're used in recipes or restaurant settings, and how they relate to each other in everyday conversations. Now, the next question is, how can you use this strategy to accelerate your vocabulary learning? Start by selecting a broad theme, such as nature, emotions, technology, or travel, and then identify key vocabulary that falls within this theme. As you build your word clusters, make sure to include words from various categories within the theme. This way, you'll cover a wide spectrum of related vocabulary in one go. By clustering words around a theme, you transform your learning from a passive activity to an active exploration of language. Each word becomes a part of a bigger picture, making it easier to retain and recall. Part 3. Now, let's explore some practical techniques to implement thematic learning and word clusters effectively. The first method we'll discuss is the use of mind maps. Mind mapping is an excellent tool for visually organizing words around central themes. For instance, you could create a mind map with emotions at the center and branch out with clusters like anger, happiness, fear, and sadness, each containing specific vocabulary like rage, joyful, or terrified. Mind maps work wonders because they allow you to visually connect words to their themes, making it easier to recall them. As you expand your vocabulary, you can add new clusters, deepening your understanding of a particular theme and reinforcing your knowledge of related words. This process turns vocabulary learning into a dynamic, organic experience rather than a static memorization task. Another effective technique is the use of flashcards. Flashcards allow you to practice vocabulary in a fun and interactive way. But instead of just writing the word on one side and the definition on the other, try grouping your flashcards by theme. For example, one set of flashcards might include vocabulary related to the office, computer, desk, meeting, while another set could focus on the outdoors, forest, mountain, river. By grouping these cards into clusters, you enhance your ability to recall them by tapping into the relatedness between the words. These strategies not only help improve retention, but also deepen your understanding of how words function within a given context. As you get better at clustering, you'll begin to naturally associate words with broader themes in your conversations and writing, making your language use more natural and fluent. Part 4. Let's connect this strategy to real-life experiences. One of the greatest benefits of thematic learning and word clusters is how it directly enhances your ability to use vocabulary in real-world situations. Picture this. You're at a job interview, and you need to describe your previous work experience. If you've been learning vocabulary related to your profession through thematic clusters, you'll find it much easier to recall specific terms and use them fluidly in your speech. For example, imagine you've been studying vocabulary related to business. You've grouped words like strategy, marketing, negotiation, and leadership. When asked to talk about your past experience, you'll naturally draw from these clusters, enabling you to speak more confidently and precisely about your skills and achievements. This approach also works wonders in conversations with native speakers. As you interact with people, you'll be able to quickly access relevant vocabulary based on the themes of the conversation. Whether you're discussing emotions, technology, or travel, you'll find yourself using words from your thematic clusters, making your speech sound more natural and confident. In fact, thematic learning helps you not only understand words, but use them effectively in context. This connection between vocabulary and real-life usage is key to feeling comfortable in both casual conversations and professional settings. Part 5. As we conclude this video, I want to remind you that vocabulary learning doesn't have to be a chore. By embracing thematic learning and word clusters, you transform the process into a meaningful and enjoyable journey. This method connects words to real-world contexts, helps you build a deeper understanding of the language, and makes it easier to remember and use vocabulary in your day-to-day life. So, how can you take action today? Start by choosing a theme that interests you, whether it's related to your career, hobbies, or travel. Build a word cluster around that theme and begin practicing. Use mind maps, flashcards, and conversations to reinforce your learning. And remember, consistency is key. Set aside time every day to expand your clusters and explore new themes. By incorporating thematic learning into your routine, you'll not only increase your vocabulary, but also gain a more natural and intuitive understanding of how words fit together in English. Keep challenging yourself, and soon you'll find that the language comes to you effortlessly, just like a second nature. Start today and watch your vocabulary grow.